When the lights go out, what's your plan? Imagine this: in the blink of an eye, your phone dies, your car grinds to a halt, and every piece of tech you rely on just stops. No warning, no explanation, no time to prepare. Would you know what to do, or would you, like millions of others, be left staring at a lifeless screen, waiting for help that's never coming? This is the terrifying reality of an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse. In less than a second, it could fry the electronics that power your home, your city, even your entire country. We're not just talking about losing Wi-Fi or your favorite Netflix show. We're talking about water systems shutting down, grocery stores unable to refrigerate food, hospitals losing life-saving equipment, and banking systems collapsing. And before you think, that could never happen here, think again. Both natural solar storms and high-altitude nuclear detonations have the power to unleash an EMP strong enough to cripple modern civilization for months or even years. The U.S. Congressional EMP Commission has warned that if the grid goes down for a year, 90% of the population could perish from starvation, disease, and chaos. But here's the good news. There are simple, dirt-cheap items you can grab today, things that don't rely on fragile tech or batteries, that will keep working when everything else fails. These aren't luxury gadgets, they're proven no-nonsense tools that could mean the difference between survival and disaster. So let's dive in. When the grid goes dark, these 10 cheap items will still have your back. 10. The ever-reliable hand-cranked flashlight. When the grid goes dark and the world plunges into chaos, the humble hand-cranked flashlight becomes more than just a source of light, it becomes a lifeline. Unlike traditional flashlights that rely on batteries, these ingenious devices are powered by your own effort. A simple crank of the handle generates mechanical energy, which is then converted into electrical power through a dynamo. This energy is stored in an internal capacitor or rechargeable cell, ready to provide light when you need it most. Why is this so important? Studies from disaster response agencies reveal that light can reduce panic by over 60% in crisis situations. It's not just about seeing in the dark, it's about calming your mind, making rational decisions, and avoiding dangerous mistakes. In an EMP scenario where batteries, USB chargers, and power banks are likely fried beyond repair, the ability to create light on demand is invaluable. Modern hand-cranked flashlights are more than just a light source. Many models come equipped with additional features like radios, emergency sirens, and even USB charging ports for small devices. While the USB ports might be rendered useless after an EMP, the flashlight and radio functions will still work, keeping you connected to your surroundings. A quality hand-cranked flashlight can provide up to 30 minutes of light with just 60 seconds of cranking. The best part? These devices are incredibly affordable, often costing less than $20. You can easily stash one in every room, your car, and your emergency bag without breaking the bank. During Hurricane Katrina, 90% of rescue workers relied on non-battery powered light sources for nighttime operations when supplies ran out. In an EMP scenario, a hand-cranked flashlight isn't just a convenience, it's a tool for survival, signaling rescuers, warding off wildlife, and keeping morale high when the world around you is shrouded in darkness. 9. Portable manual water filters, your lifeline to clean water. An EMP won't directly poison your water, but it will cripple the infrastructure that delivers clean water to your home. Municipal water systems rely on electrically powered pumps, treatment facilities, and computer-controlled monitoring systems. Without electricity, these systems can fail within hours, leading to contamination from bacteria, viruses, and chemical runoff. In any extended grid-down event, waterborne diseases become the #1 killer. The CDC has reported that in disaster zones without functioning water infrastructure, diarrhea-related illnesses can spike by over 400% within the first week. This is why a portable manual water filter like a LifeStraw or Sawyer Mini is not just a luxury, it's a necessity. These compact devices are designed to process thousands of liters of water without electricity, removing 99.99% of harmful bacteria and protozoa. They're lightweight, easy to use, and incredibly effective. You can drink directly from a muddy puddle, a creek, or even a questionable rain barrel without fear of getting sick. And the best part? They cost less than $25 and can fit in your pocket. In Venezuela's ongoing infrastructure collapse, similar water filters became black market gold, trading for triple their retail value as desperate families sought safe drinking water. Without one, your only option is to boil water over a fire, a time-consuming and fuel-intensive process that isn't always effective against all pathogens. With a manual water filter, you can travel light, stay hydrated, and avoid the dangers of contaminated water. When the water trucks stop rolling and bottled water shelves are stripped bare, the person with a portable water filter will have a significant advantage. It's not just about survival, it's about maintaining your health and mobility in a world where every sip of water could be a gamble. 8 solar garden lights, the unexpected heroes. At first glance, solar garden lights might seem like a trivial luxury, but in the aftermath of an EMP, they become an ingenious solution to a critical problem. These small, self-sufficient lights are designed to soak up sunlight during the day and provide illumination at night. They're completely independent of the grid, weather-resistant, and surprisingly durable. Each solar garden light comes with its own miniature solar panel and rechargeable battery. Because they lack long conductive wiring and complex electronics, they're unlikely to be affected by an EMP. When your traditional lighting options fail, these lights can be brought indoors to illuminate a room, then placed outside during the day to recharge. A single solar garden light can run for 6 to 10 hours on a full day's sun exposure. Group 10 of them together, and you can light up a living space as brightly as a small lamp, enough for reading, cooking, or simply keeping spirits up. They're also incredibly affordable, often selling in bulk packs for just a few dollars per light. After Hurricane Maria devastated Puerto Rico, communities used salvaged solar garden lights to create makeshift lighting systems, allowing safe passage between homes and deterring looters. These lights are portable, easy to hide, and can even be stored in a Faraday cage or a simple metal trash can lined with cardboard to protect them from an EMP wave. In a world without electricity, the person whose home still glows quietly at night will have an edge, not just in safety, but in maintaining a sense of normalcy. Solar garden lights may not be glamorous, but their practicality and reliability make them an essential part of any post-EMP survival plan. 7. Cast iron cookware, the indestructible kitchen essential. When an EMP takes down the power grid, your modern kitchen appliances, microwaves, electric stoves, and induction cooktops will become nothing more than expensive paperweights. But cast iron cookware, it doesn't. These heavy, virtually indestructible tools have been feeding people for centuries without a single volt of electricity. Cast iron is incredibly versatile. It distributes heat evenly, retains that heat longer than aluminum or steel, and works on any heat source: wood, charcoal, propane, or even a campfire made from scrap lumber. A well-seasoned cast iron pan is naturally non-stick and doesn't rely on fragile coatings that can break down over time. Historically, cast iron was the backbone of frontier cooking in the 1800s. Feeding entire towns and mining camps, modern survivalists value it for its durability and immunity to EMP effects. You can drop a cast iron pan off a truck, cook on it over a fire, and still use it for decades. During prolonged blackouts, fire-based cooking accidents often spike due to people using the wrong type of cookware on unsafe heat sources. Cast iron minimizes this risk with its stability and durability. Best of all, you can still buy a brand new cast iron skillet for under $20 or even less at thrift stores and yard sales. In Venezuela's ongoing blackout crisis, families who held onto their grandmother's cast iron cookware were still cooking normal meals months into the collapse, while their neighbors struggled with cheap aluminum pans that warped and failed. In an EMP world, cast iron cookware isn't just about eating better, it's about cooking safely, maintaining morale, and carrying forward a piece of civilization in a pan. 6. Analog watches. Timekeeping in chaos. When the EMP hits, your digital clocks, smartwatches, and even the clocks in your car dashboard will be rendered useless. That's when a simple analog watch, whether battery-powered quartz or wind-up mechanical, becomes more than just a timepiece. It becomes your anchor in the chaos. In survival situations, the ability to track time is not a luxury, it's a strategy. Knowing when to move, when to rest, and how long to boil water can mean the difference between safety and sickness. During World War II, synchronized mechanical watches were often the only way to coordinate attacks and rescues when radio silence was critical. EMP experts note that simple quartz watches with minimal circuitry can survive an EMP blast, while purely mechanical watches are virtually immune. Even in the worst-case scenario, a $10 wind-up pocket watch will keep you on track. Without a reliable timepiece, tasks become inefficient. You might overcook food, miss optimal travel windows, or fail to keep critical watches at night. Studies from post-disaster zones, like Haiti after the 2010 earthquake, showed that rescue teams with functioning timekeeping devices completed missions 23% faster than those without. Analog watches excel because they're self-contained and require no electricity to recharge. Mechanical ones can last decades with minimal maintenance. In Venezuela's ongoing crisis, survivors have even traded wristwatches for food, as they allowed people to meet traders at precise times without lingering in dangerous areas. Best of all, analog watches are dirt cheap. You can stockpile several for under $50, ensuring every family member has one. In an EMP-ravaged world, knowing the exact minute isn't about punctuality, it's about control, coordination, and survival in a place where every second counts. 5 muscle-powered hand tools, the backbone of survival. When an EMP strikes, every cordless drill, electric saw, and battery-powered gadget you own will become nothing more than a useless hunk of metal and plastic. That's when the old-school, all-muscle, no-fail hand tools step up to reclaim their rightful place as the backbone of survival. Hammers, screwdrivers, hand saws, wrenches, and pliers, these are the tools that built civilizations long before electricity was even a concept. In a post-EMP world where the supply chain collapses and replacement parts vanish, these simple, reliable tools will be your lifeline. They allow you to repair broken doors, dismantle scavenged equipment, and even build makeshift shelters from salvaged materials. During Argentina's 2001 economic collapse, families with basic toolkits were able to barter their repair skills for food and fuel. Suddenly, the ability to fix things became a highly valuable currency. FEMA reports that households with functioning manual toolkits recover home functionality 60% faster in long-term disaster zones. The reason is simple: you can't wait for a hardware store that no longer exists. You become the hardware store. A hand crank drill can bore holes without electricity. A hacksaw can cut through metal for makeshift repairs, and a hammer with nails can transform scrap wood into barricades or furniture. These tools are EMP-proof by design. They have no circuits, no delicate components, and nothing to fry. Best of all, they're cheap and easy to find. Pawn shops, yard sales, and thrift stores are treasure troves of solid, decades-old tools that outlast anything you'd find in a big-box store today. In a post-EMP world, the person who can fix things isn't just surviving, they're thriving. They become essential to their community, and in a world where resources are scarce, being essential is a powerful form of currency. Stock up on these muscle-powered tools now, because when the grid goes down, they'll be worth their weight in gold. 4 navigational lifesavers, paper maps and a compass. When the EMP hits, your GPS will be nothing more than a blank screen. Every navigation app, every car's built-in mapping system, gone in an instant. That's when paper maps and a reliable compass transform from outdated relics into absolute lifesavers. Without them, you're left to rely on memory and whatever road signs haven't been stolen or vandalized. With a map and compass in hand, you can navigate to freshwater sources, safe zones, and supply caches without wandering aimlessly. History is full of tragic examples of people dying within sight of safety because they lost their bearings. Take the 1993 Children of the Ice tragedy in Russia, where victims walked in circles for over 20 hours, unaware they were within sight of a village. A compass doesn't just point north, it provides consistency when landmarks change or disappear. Pair it with a topographic paper map, and you can identify elevation changes, river crossings, and terrain features that are invisible from the ground. Even FEMA's emergency preparedness guidelines emphasize the importance of paper maps because they work in all weather, require no batteries, and are immune to signal loss. The best part? They're incredibly affordable. A high-quality Silva compass costs under $15, and you can print free maps online for just the cost of ink and paper. Store them in waterproof sleeves, and they'll last indefinitely. In Venezuela's ongoing crisis, locals often rely on tourist maps to find backroads and avoid dangerous checkpoints. In a post-EMP world, being lost is one of the most dangerous situations you can face. With a map and compass, you can plan routes, avoid hazards, and travel with confidence, even at night. When the grid goes down, these simple tools will be your guide to safety and survival. Fire-making essentials, matches, and lighters. Fire is humanity's oldest survival tool, and in the aftermath of an EMP, it becomes more valuable than ever. Forget about fancy plasma lighters or electric igniters. They'll be rendered useless in seconds. Instead, the humble disposable lighter and a box of strike-anywhere matches will become your best friends. Fire means warmth, cooked food, boiled water, and light in the darkness. It's also a psychological boost. Studies show that fire reduces stress hormones in crisis situations by up to During the 2011 Fukushima disaster, survivors in rural areas who had stored matches and lighters were able to heat their shelters, cook meals and ward off hypothermia while waiting for relief. Those without fire-starting tools faced far greater struggle. A single $1 lighter can produce hundreds of flames, and matches stored in waterproof containers can last indefinitely. Smart preppers don't just have one or two, they have dozens scattered across their homes, vehicles and gear bags. And here's the hard truth. In a post-EMP world, your supply of matches and lighters is finite. Once they're gone, you're left rubbing sticks together. Fire-starting tools are also excellent barter items. Small, lightweight, and universally understood, they're immediately useful in any survival scenario. During the 1990 siege of Sarajevo, a single lighter could be traded for a full meal because it represented the ability to cook food and stay warm without using precious fuel. In a world without electricity, the ability to make fire isn't just a convenience, it's a necessity. Stockpile matches and lighters now, because when the grid goes down, they'll be worth more than gold. 2. The lifeline of communication, AM/FM radios. When an EMP wipes out the internet, cell towers and modern communication systems, the silence will be deafening and dangerous. Without reliable information, navigating a post-EMP world is like walking blindfolded through a minefield. That's where a simple AM/FM battery-powered radio becomes a lifeline. These devices are small, rugged, and simple enough to survive an EMP if stored properly. A metal ammo can or even a lined cookie tin can act as a makeshift Faraday cage to protect them. Why are they so important? Because radio is often the last form of mass communication to remain operational during a national emergency. The U Emergency Alert System is designed to broadcast critical updates such as the locations of aid stations, evacuation routes, and contamination warnings over AM/FM frequencies, long after TV and internet services are gone. During the 2003 Northeast blackout, which affected over 55 million people, battery-powered radios were the only source of official news for days in some areas. After the 2010 Haiti earthquake, survivors with working radios received life-saving instructions on where to find clean water and medical aid. Those without radios often walked into unsafe zones, unaware of the dangers. The best part, these radios are incredibly affordable. A decent unit costs under $20 and a pack of Day A batteries is just a few dollars more. Many preppers keep multiple radios in different bags, along with spare batteries because in a grid-down world, batteries will be as valuable as currency. In a post-EMP scenario, knowledge isn't just power, it's survival. With an AM/FM radio, you'll know when it's safe to move, where resources are located, and whether help is on the way. Knowledge in print, survival manuals. When the digital age dies in an instant, so does your access to the endless library of the internet. Your phone, tablet, and laptop will all be rendered useless, taking with them every bookmarked survival blog, YouTube how-to video, and saved PDF. That's why printed survival manuals are the ultimate cheap but priceless resource after an EMP. These books contain the kind of knowledge you can't improvise in a crisis. They teach you how to purify water, build a shelter, treat wounds without modern medicine, identify edible plants, trap small game, and preserve food without refrigeration. The U.S. Survival Manual, FM 21-76, has been a staple in conflict zones since the Cold War because it covers everything from navigation to field medicine in extreme conditions. Historical examples highlight the value of printed knowledge. During the siege of Leningrad, families with guides on food preservation and herbal medicine survived starvation winters far better than those without. In Venezuela's ongoing collapse, photocopied instructions for water filtration and soap making circulate like contraband, valued more than cash in rural areas. Printed manuals are EMP-proof, require no batteries, and work just as well under candlelight as they do in sunlight. Even a $10 thrift store copy of a basic first aid or wild edibles guide can mean the difference between life and death. The best part, these manuals can be tailored to your specific environment, whether it's gardening guides for your climate or hunting books for your local wildlife. In a post-EMP world, knowledge is power, and written knowledge is survival. Stock up on printed survival manuals now, because when the lights go out for good, they'll be your most valuable resource.